Don't get me wrong, I love shopping for home decor online, but the prices are astronomical. Today we're making high-end decor on a budget. It's going to save you tons of money, so grab your popcorn and let's get started. Every day at Dollar Tree, you can find these wood bead rings that I have crafted with a ton. Today I am making some cute pumpkins that I found at Target.com. I'm only going to make one, but this came in a set for almost $52. I said, no way, I can make this on my own. I'm only making one of them, but I think using these wood bead rings is perfect. I'm going to open them up, remove two beads from each one. That way there's enough space to kind of move things around as I fold things and shape them into a pumpkin. All right, so we're going to start by just twisting it like a number 8. This is just going to give me those two halves. Then I'm just going to fold it onto towards each other. And then we're going to do the same on the other one because we want to create that pumpkin look. So we need all those sides. And this is one of those things where you just have to trust the process because it was kind of like a hot mess at first. All right, then I'm just going to tie things with a little bit of white jute string. This is just kind of keep things together so that they don't come apart. I did the same thing on both, and I'm going to insert them inside each other. Again, creating that pumpkin shape. Again, I'm just going to keep twisting, turning, tying, and shaping until I kind of have the look that I'm looking for, which is similar to the ones at Target. So I'm just going to join them at the bottom just to give it that final round look. And just a tight knot, and I do add a little bit of hot glue on the knot, and that will secure it in place. Cutting off the excess, now I'm just going to keep shaping them until I like what I see. Of course, we're going to need a stem, so I'm just going to add a regular stem. Now, the ones from Target had like jute string wrapped around it. I'm just going to add this one from Dollar Tree. It works well. I'm going to make mine a little different. I'm not going to paint mine orange because I like my neutral tones. And I am going to add some boxwood inside. Let me remind you what the Target ones look like. They were a set for almost $52. And this is what mine looks like. I think it's gorgeous. I am going to show you a side-by-side comparison and you let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next DIY craft, we're going to start with some drop cloth. I found this on Amazon and I do have it on my Amazon store. I love working with drop cloth and I'm going to try to recreate these antique farmhouse pillows, which are beautiful for almost $40 for 3 of them. I'm going to use this one. It already has a seam, so that's going to work out great because I don't have to create my own seam. This pillow I have had for many years and I have resurfaced it for many seasons. And we're going to do it with this one as well. I'm just going to kind of dry fit it. Then I'm going to mark where I need to cut and then just cut the piece that I need. Once I have it cut, then I'm going to place the pillow back inside. And then I'm just going to kind of wrap it around again just to see what I need to cut off. Because I want this pillow to be sealed on 3 sides but open on one end. The drop cloth was very folded, so I'm just going to spritz it with my spritzer and then iron it. If you don't know what a spritzer is, it's like a spray bottle, but instead of spritzing a lot of water, it's a mist. So it's like a mister. And then it just kind of get things wet. I really love it, and I do have it on my Amazon store as well if you want to check it out. Again, it is linked below. All right, once ironed, I'm going to place the drop cloth inside out, and we're going to start hot gluing it in place. You can sew it if you want, my friends. I happen to think if it's decorative and I'm going to change it in the future, let's just hot glue it. All right, so I'm just going to hot glue it right there, right down the middle. I did measure how much I had left on the bottom and I had about 2.5 inches. So I removed the pillow and marked 2.5 inches from the bottom, and that's where I am going to place the glue inside right around where those marks I placed. Again, the pillowcase is still inside out. I'm going to cut off the excess from the bottom, and that piece that I cut off, I'm going to cut into 2 strips, actually 3 strips. And then I'm going to hot glue them at the top. So again, we're still having the pillowcase inside out. I'm going to add the 3 strips on each side. So if there's just the same strip, I'm just going around. And once I have them attached, then I'm going to cut them open because this is what I'm going to use to give it a nice, cute tie look. All right, so I'm going to open them up. And then it's time to just bring in everything out. So we're just going to flip it outside in and make sure that I am placing a cardboard inside because we're going to be painting and I don't want it to bleed through. I'm just going to use masking tape from Dollar Tree, but you can use painter's tape if you want. And this pillowcase is not going to be exactly the same as the one from Antique Farmhouse, but it's going to look very similar, and I'm just going to use what I have. I'm going to use the Pumpkin Shade by Waverly Chalk Paint, and then I'm just going to just kind of dry brush it on. It's going to look like I'm stenciling it, but I just want it to be not heavy. I just want it to look nice and almost distressed. So I'm just going to do this thick strip right down the middle. Then I'm going to remove the tape, and then I'm going to add more tape on each side, creating thinner stripes. And this is just going to give me that nice kind of like sack look. Friends, I'm so excited to let you know that my mini online course is now live and it is so affordable. I go over 13 different texture techniques, all step by step at a very slow pace. I know you're going to love this course. Check it out. I have it linked down below. All right, so we're just going to remove this last tape. And it's looking so cute. It's all dry, and this stencil is one I had already on hand from Essential Stencil. Again, it's not the same as the inspiration, but I do like that it has that fall theme. And I'm going to use the Truffle Brown Paint by Waverly Chalk Paint, and I'm just going to start stenciling it. These are my favorite stenciling brush. If you do not have any of these, oh my word, guys, it's a game changer. I have them on my Amazon store. Again, it's linked below. And then I'm just going to do around and around with very, very little paint. Look how cute that looks. It dried real quick too because it's kind of like dry brushing. All right, so I'm just going to place the pillow inside, and then we're just going to tie those little ties at the top. This is going to give it such a cute look. I'm definitely keeping this pillowcase because I love it. Let me remind you what the original looked like. These are a pack of 3 for almost $40. And this is my version. I love it. It's still in my living room. I love the way it turned out. And here's the side-by-side look, and let me know what you think. For this next DIY craft, we are going to spritz the leftover piece that I cut off from the previous one because we are trying to recreate this cute little pumpkin from Antique Farmhouse that was almost $30. Again, I spritz it and I'm going to iron it to remove those wrinkles, and then we're going to start just removing and cutting things. I want to have a very good square. So I cut off the seam and then I just folded diagonally and cut off the excess, and this is going to give me a nice square. I'm going to take a stitching needle that I do get on Amazon, and I do again have it on my Amazon store. I'm going to thread some of this white jute string, and I'm going to knot the opposite end. I'm going to start stitching in and out all the way through the perimeter. And I'm just going to do it, I don't know, maybe about ½ an inch to an inch. It does not matter. And I'm just going to do it in scrunching as I go. I want to create like a little sack. All right, so we are almost done preparing the little sack, and now I'm going to add some pillow stuffing. I always have a pillow on hand in my craft studio. One I found at Walmart for about $3, and I'm just going to stuff it nice and stuffed, and then once I have it where I want it, I'm going to start pulling on that jute string, scrunching the middle, and then I'm just going to tie it in the end. You're going to be able to see the pillow stuffing. Don't worry, we're going to cover that up, okay? Because this is going to be the bottom of the pumpkin. All right, so we're just going to cut off the excess, and then I'm just going to kind of use the same knitting or stitching needle, and I'm just going to tie it into a cute little knot. And I did add a little dab of hot glue just to secure it in place, but you don't have to. All right, so now we are going to take thicker jute string, and I am going to thread it through another stitching needle. And I am going to just stick it right through the bottom, which essentially is going to be the top of the pumpkin. Right through the middle, through the other side, pull it out. Now, I did have to have my wire cutters to kind of help me pull it through because the jute string that I'm using is pretty thick. And I'm just going to keep doing this to give it that pumpkin shape on the outside. So I'm just making sure that I place the jute string where I want it, stick it through the bottom, all the way through, bring it through the top, and tie it. This is very repetitive. That's why I have it sped up here for you. Once you have them all nicely thread, I'm just going to take that last end, tie it to itself in a knot. So simple. Cut off the excess. Okay, so now we're going to cut off a piece of leftover drop cloth. This is going to make it look like a little oval, I guess, a circle oval. And we're going to hot glue it at the bottom. This is going to cover all that stuff up, and it's going to make it very pretty. You can sell these. You can keep them for yourself. You can even gift them. All right, so this is what the pumpkin looks like. How cute. All right, we're going to add hot glue right in the center and another wood stem from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to take ribbon and I am going to fold it and give it a dovetail look. And I'm going to cut off a piece at the top because we're going to add one of these grommets. So I'm just going to add it right through the hole and one of the piece and then the other piece on top. And then I'm going to take the little tools that it come with and just hammer it in. If you've never done this before, I am not an expert. I think this is like the third time I use this, but it worked. All right, I'm going to spell the word fall with a marker and then add jute string and tie it around the stem. Now, the original had a cute little jute string bow, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap it around my fingers a few times, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with more jute string, and then we're going to hot glue it towards the front. This is one of my favorites from today, my friends. Wait until you see it. Let me remind you what the original looked like from Antique Farmhouse. Such a cute piece. But it was so expensive at almost $30. Oh my word, this is mine and I think it looks so cute. Wait until you see it side by side to the inspiration. Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this $3 pumpkin from their Dollar Tree Plus, and we're going to try to recreate this Antique Farmhouse metallic golden style pumpkin that was $31.50. I'm going to paint the whole thing in the truffle paint color by Waverly chalk paint, and it has such great coverage. I only added one coat and it was perfect. I'm going to do everything, bottom, sides, top, and even the stem, all in the same color. This color makes me just want chocolate. It's like the perfect chocolate color. You know what I mean? All right, so I painted the stem as well because the original had that dark stem. Here's what it looks like all dried, still looking like chocolate. Right, I'm going to take this rub and buff in the golden tone. I have used this quite a bit recently because I love the finish that it gives. It truly gives it a metallic look. You would never think that this pumpkin is foam. All right, I'm going to take a rag and I'm just going to start applying it. Now, in the inspiration, you can still see a lot of the brown, especially on the ridges. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to keep adding the rub and buff all around the pumpkin, making sure that it's not full coverage because we want to see that brown undertone. And I think you're going to love the way this looks. Tell me this is not looking so adorable. I added just a little bit on the stem. And of course, I'm going to remind you what the original looked like from Antique Farmhouse. It was $31.50 for one of them. And this is my version. Oh my word. So beautiful. And wait until you see it side by side with the inspiration. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you love this video, I know you're gonna like this one too, so click on it, watch. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.